It is just so weird how things involving like Walker being around this person continue to like come up somehow. And so there was this clip, I don't know where it came from. It sounds like it's like a cast
Podcast or
commentary.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I want your opinion, I'll take Wolverine's dick out of your mouth.
That's kid guiltily. That is my daughter Inez.
I'm so sorry we have to admit that.
And
He then Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy, who is the director, start talking about how that is his I think she was 7 years old at the time, daughter that did that. And then they talk about how they made her do it 70 to 500 times.
Yeah, but Ryan, to our discredit, we made Nezzy do, I'm not shitting you, 70 to 500 versions of that line.
And that she didn't want, and the first thing he says is she didn't want to do it.
And I am father of the year over here for allowing her to say such language, which, to her credit, she really didn't want to say. And then came back later and said, I want to say it now, when I started looking at other people to play it.
That she's wearing a mask the whole time. And so you don't even have to like have her actually do it. You could have had somebody do the voiceover for the part. But the way that that like connects a little bit back to Walker is that the rumors of the part that he was going to play was that part. Was she's playing kid pool in that part and says that line. And it makes me like uncomfortable to think about like 14-year-old, 15-year-old Walker even saying that line, much less an 8-year-old. But it's just weird that like that is the part that he was supposed to play, and they thought that he was too old, that he was too tall, and that his voice changed too much.
There was a little bit of talks like maybe kid pool or like teen or like something like that, but I grow a lot and I'm super busy with Percy and it didn't make sense for the time, and Sean gave me a call about it, which it's like crazy that they were even thinking of me for that. Like that's like all I could ask for, and the fact that he gave me a call to like tell me that that wasn't happening, which I didn't even like expect it to happen in the first place, which is like that was just like that's more than I could ever ask for.
You just grow a lot. We wish we could do something, but you just grow a lot.
I do, unfortunately, which will not match the continuity from last season, but you know.
And it's like, why do you want a child that sounds like a child to yell something out like that? Like, why do you want that? Like, that is just so weird. And overall, like, the part of that I wanted to just mention is why we talk about child actors a lot, is that Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy, like, Sean Levy is the godfather to the youngest sibling of those kids. Like, he is not just a person, he is somebody, he's like a very close family friend. So her father and a very close family friend was telling her and pressuring her to do this, and they are the two most powerful people on that set. You know that hundreds of adults were watching her having to yell that line over and over and over and over again, and none of them could step in and stop it because it was these people, her dad and the director, that were having her do it. You can't, they literally like can't do it. And I guess the point of that is like, if you want to believe that like Hollywood has changed, it has not changed at all. That was filmed last year. And like Blake Lively used a body double because she didn't think that her body was good enough yet to be in like the jumpsuit thing for her like Deadpool role. She used her body double, but they make her, their actual kid, stand in and yell that line over and over again when they could have just dubbed it over with somebody who could like just speak like a child.
Yeah.
Or they could have just had Walker fucking do it.
Yes. Yeah, that's
like,
what I brought up when you said it. The way that Ryan said it, I think it was a threat and not actually happening, that he was like, oh, we're going to ask somebody else, which adds another layer to it of him being the dad in this situation. Because of course, like as kids, you want to make your parents happy. My dad's not happy with me. He's so unhappy with me. He's going to have another kid do this thing he wanted me to do. Oh, hell no. You know, like that's the reaction.
That's automatically the thing that's going to get her to do it. And he knew that. Like, she said she was uncomfortable with it. Obviously,
it's manipulation.
Any kid that young would be. And I guess the thing that I wanted to just make a point of about that is that the other story that came out about Ryan Reynolds recently that we talked about was when he slapped a 15-year-old kid when it wasn't at all in the script, when he did the Amityville horror movie. And the way that they talked about that movie was he talked about it as like joking about it and was like, oh yeah, it was so horrible that I did that, but this kid thought that I was so cool when I did it and blah blah blah. And like it like very much like kind of makes it hard for people to ever talk about anything because you're the one, it's very disarming when you're the one talking about it, but you're also very like you're being like making fun of yourself or talking badly about yourself when you're talking about it. So it's hard then as the other person or anyone else involved to be mad at you when you're talking about it and being like, oh yeah, that was stupid of me to do, but also joking about it at the same time. It just makes the other person feel like you're being like dramatic if you bring that stuff up. And he did the exact same thing with this story. Like him and the director both started talking about it in this like clip that is going around now. Nobody had to know that. Like nobody needed to know that. Nobody ever needed to know that. I just wonder what that kid is going to feel like when she is older and there's a clip of her on the internet forever saying that. Like, is she gonna, I wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that somebody, my dad especially, made me say that when I was 7, 8 years old. And now, like, people can, like, just repost that about me whenever they want. It's just weird. And it's just also weird that, like, that was the part that Walker was supposed to have. And for some reason, they wanted somebody that sounded younger than him to say a line like that. I don't get it. I just will never get any of that. And it's just, I guess, it's just concerning whenever stuff like that shows up. And I'm like, okay, this is, like, making me really glad that he's never done anything else with him and hopefully will never do anything else with him ever again. Because that is not a person that I want any kid around on set. Because imagine what he's like if he treated his daughter like that, like what kind of stuff is he making other kids say on set or just talking to them in that sort of a way. I just don't even want to think about it. And we're never going to know because he's so powerful in Hollywood that unless some like massive documentary comes out about them one day or something where it's like that bad, we're never going to find out. It's just, that's just how Hollywood is.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And like what sucks is my dad's side of the family very much was that kind of like sarcastic, make fun of each other kind of family. And like I'll admit, even Jake's that way. You know, like Jake is totally like I'm gonna poke fun at you, but Jake does it in a much kinder way than my family did. They were like, oh, that's a wound. Let me dig my finger into it. And like I can just imagine this poor little girl like doing it over and over and over again. I don't want to say this. They're making me say this. If I don't do this, they're going to replace me. What does it mean if they replace me? Because I'm 7 and this is my dad. Like, yeah, it's just like, oh my gosh, all of the emotions.
And especially when you think about like child actors who like want to be child actors, like I'm not even sure that she even wants to do that. She just like did it because she's like just their child. But like there's a lot of rejection when it comes to like child actors, but most of the time the one that is telling you you're not saying the line good enough is not your father and your godfather. It's usually just like a director, a casting director, your acting coach, whatever. And even though those are things that I like just generally worry about with child actors, of them trying to like please these adults and like not thinking about if the adults are being like asking too much of them, basically that kind of a thing, but instead just want to like do it good basically and make them happy, but like it's even worse when you think about it that the people she's trying to please like that and that they made her say that line a bunch of times was like people that are her family, that people that like are supposed to love her. And so it makes that sort of rejection even harder when you're not doing it like good enough for those people, like when it's your dad. And I don't know, I just don't even know why they would tell everybody something like that.
And like we were just saying, like at least Adam Project, like it seemed like it was an okay product. Like it didn't seem like too bad. The one thing that I saw that was like the question mark of could there be more like this was there's this scene that's a behind the scenes thing of they're in like it can go through time. It goes super, super fast. And so Walker's character is not strapped in. Walker's Adam is not strapped in. Adult Adam is strapped in and piloting. And at one point he like is flying vertical or sorry, horizontal completely behind Ryan Reynolds, and like Ryan Reynolds had to put Walker's hand on his face to like emphasize it because Walker was being too gentle. And so it's like, okay, he's not afraid to physically get in there in a scene. So like, could there be more of this? Potentially. Could he have pushed Walker to say things that Walker may not have been comfortable with?
Yeah.
I mean, Walker was repeating Deadpool, so he's not a good case study in this one. But yeah.
Well, that's part of why I wonder about that, is that was his very first acting role, like ever. Like I need people to understand this about this child.
Yes, very first ever, and he did so good.
Yeah, and that he didn't do anything. Like all the other kids have done, like, you know, commercials or like those like cheesy sort of things that you see actors do when they're like just starting out in the industry. His entire acting career is doing The Adam Project, The Secret Headquarters movie, Percy Jackson, and another movie that hasn't come out yet. That's it.
Yeah, I still need to watch that Secret Headquarters movie, by the way.
And that's literally it. And like 3 out of 4 of those things, he is the star. And so it's just like he doesn't know, especially when he's 12, like he wouldn't know what a set is like.
Was he a Capricorn sun or what?
Yeah.
What Saturn placement? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
he's one of those kids that aims to please, and this is what we fear for him.
yeah.
This is like our parasocial, like, oh my God, Walker, don't do this to yourself. Like,
Yeah.
and we totally admit to it in this case because like it comes from a good place. It comes from
Yeah.
seeing that this kid is a workhorse,
Yeah.
and like it doesn't need to be.
And I got to tell you, that crew, they love Walker. They love him. Those men, and they had been working with him already for months by the time I got there. They love him. And these guys are hardened professionals who do this, but they are like, this kid, he's not rude. He's appreciative. He works hard. He has a great attitude. Every take is a good take. He's trying to get better.
Yeah, it reminds us of us, honestly, how like the way I look at it is like on the Percy Jackson set, that's a set that is like meant to like help those kids. And so when you have a kid like Walker that wants to do everything really well and needs to like prove himself because he has like no like cred when it comes to that in Hollywood, like he's never done anything, and so everything he does, he has to prove that he deserves to be there, because he doesn't have any connections with anyone or anything like that. When you have a kid like that that is like very hardworking and wants to prove that they can do it and wants to like improve on what they're doing too, because they just love what they're doing, it would be very easy to like overwork them. And that's why I pay attention to this stuff, is because I don't want to watch another generation of child actors be just like ripped apart by the industry and spit out. And so like even if nobody else listens to what we say besides us, at least we're trying to say something about these kids on the show. And he's the one that I worry about most, just because he's the star and he doesn't have like connections with anyone else in Hollywood the way that all the other kids live in LA. And so it just is like a different sort of atmosphere, I guess, when you don't have anything and you're suddenly in the middle of all of this stuff. And so when I see that stuff, I'm like, the Percy Jackson set knows he's really hardworking, and they talk about it. They talk about how much they love how hard he works every single day and everything. But they also like take care of him about that. They don't like overwork him to the point where he's like falling over and exhausted or getting hurt or anything like that can happen. But like another production might not care about that. And so I'm not sure that the Adam Project would have cared about that. And I am very sure that if they didn't, he would have like no idea because of how young he was, how much he loved Ryan Reynolds. He wouldn't see it as like a bad thing. And so it's just one of those things that every time Ryan Reynolds does something like this, I just get like retroactively worried about what happened in the past that we don't even know about. And I just always hope that it wasn't that bad, because I don't want these Percy Jackson kids to have really negative experiences with Hollywood. I'm tired of this like always happening. and I just want them to have a better experience, and they definitely do on this set. They definitely do when they're doing Percy Jackson. So thank God for that, and they're going to be doing it for a while now, obviously, as they just announced, like the next season, a month after they stop filming, and so they're going to at least be busy with that stuff for some time. But I just want them to have a better experience than every other like kind of generation of Hollywood kids. And Hollywood isn't going to change, obviously. We just talked about what happened with Ryan Reynolds and his daughter. Everyone stood back and watched that happen, and nobody said anything.
Yeah.
And so like that kind of stuff is still going to happen, but I just hope that they can find a way to get through this stuff without it affecting them too much, where they leave it like a lot of other actors do, suddenly talking about all of the horrible things that happened to them that they never mentioned when they were growing up.
If they make it out, you know.
Yeah, I just don't want it to be like that with them.